Taking a live look at Capitol Hill right now, where leaders of big tech companies were grilled by Senate leaders over child safety online. And attending were CEOs in charge of Meta, X, and TikTok, just to name a few, but also present parents of children who lost a child to social media harm.
And among those parents were Rose and Rob Bronstein, who lost their son, Nate, to suicide. They say it was the result of cyberbullying by his classmates at Latin School of Chicago. They're both joining us live right now. First, Rose and Rob, let me just start off here by saying so sorry for your loss.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Tell us what happened at today's hearing and what came of it.
Well, the U.S. Senate Judiciary Committee, I don't know the strong enough word to use, but it was pretty aggressive questioning of the CEOs of Meta, TikTok, Snap, Discord, and Twitter, which are obviously are five of the most significant platforms with billions of users between them. And what was really, really clear, not just by the questioning and the pretty much lack of coherent answers, or at least straight answers by the CEOs, but also the hundreds of parents who were there whose children have been harmed in some way or another. What was really clear is that waiting for these companies to clean up their act and police themselves is just not serious. Congress has to act. Things absolutely need to be done. We're at a crisis point, and relying on the five people that we heard from today is definitely not the answer, and it was confirmed today.
Well, I have to say, I can't even imagine what this must be like for you and the other parents that were there today, so frustrated with the horrible tragedies that you have gone through. You want this taken care of as soon as possible. I understand Mark Zuckerberg from Meta actually apologized to parents today. Were you satisfied in any way with that apology, or what other big tech companies had to say about what they're going to do to fix these problems?
Absolutely not. It's all just circling the wagons, word salad, denying and deflecting from the reality. Senator Josh Hawley offered Zuckerberg in the moment to turn around and apologize to all of us parent survivors who lost children to social media related harms. And he got up and it wasn't a genuine apology. He said he was sorry for what survivor parents have been through, but did not take any accountability for his platform causing these harms to our children.
And if I could give an example, afterward there was a press conference, and there was a young woman who had been sextorted on Instagram and Meta. And she talked about what happened to her, and she said 4 out of the 5 accounts that victimized her are still active as of yesterday. So when these platforms say that they're doing things, it's lip service, it's nonsense. They're well coached by their attorneys and their PR people, but when it actually comes to the facts and what's going on and the things they could be doing to protect kids versus what they're actually doing, the answer is there wouldn't be hundreds of parents there whose children have been killed in one way, shape, or form, and the families there today, of course, are just the tip of the iceberg. That doesn't account for not only the other families who aren't there, whose children have died, but also mental health disorders, body dysmorphia, children who have been sex trafficked, who fortunately are still alive, but are probably irreparably harmed. It just goes on and on and on. And it was very graphic to see so many people in one room. But it's even more disturbing when you think about that we only represent a small portion. And again, I'll say it again, which is waiting for this group of companies who have slick answers about what they're doing, waiting for them to police themselves and fix things is just not a serious answer, not even close.
Rose and Rob, let me ask you, what do you miss most about your son?
Everything. Everything. His smile, his sense of humor, his presence. Every day feels like it's just a giant hole. we feel him missing. I feel him missing every day, every minute of every day.
I just want to say, I know the two of you are founding board members of the nonprofit Buckets Over Bullying, and we so admire that you are overcoming and helping parents deal with something like this by making sure his legacy sticks around and that you can help other parents and children who are going through this. And we know how difficult this was for you to come today, and we so appreciate you, Rose and Rob Bronstein. Keep up the good work in memory of your son.
Thank you. We appreciate the opportunity to come on here and talk about what a problem this is too. So thank you.
Yes, thank you so much.
Thank you.